My. So Marjorie Taylor Greene just held a congressional hearing to expose the corrupt leftist NGO conspiracy, but accidentally revealed the entire Republican dark money playbook instead. Oops. I shit you not, this is peak MAGA projection, and the best part is that she literally created a chart called the Circle of Life to explain her conspiracy theory. Yeah, the woman who believes in Jewish space lasers made a Lion King reference to explain government corruption. You can't make this shit up.
The scheme works in a cycle, as shown here. Democrat administration officials work with leftist NGOs to implement programs in a manner that ensures those NGOs receive massive grants and contracts.
Oh, there's a scheme all right, Marge, just not the one that you think. Because while Greene was up there ranting about the leftist NGO fifth column destroying America, something absolutely beautiful was happening. The Democrats actually did their homework for once.
Just want to clarify, you served on the board for Project 2025, is that correct?
I don't think I was on a board. We were one of the advisors for it, but yes.
So, yeah.
Uh-oh, suddenly Mr. Krikorian's looking a bit uncomfortable. But wait, it gets so much more damning.
This is the organization that acted as a fiscal sponsor for Ginni Thomas's nonprofit, correct?
For a project that she was one of many people involved with, yes.
Yes.
Hold up, Ginni Thomas, as in Clarence Thomas's wife. The same Clarence Thomas who's been taking luxury vacations from billionaires while ruling on their cases. Yeah, it turns out that Greene's star witnesses aren't exactly, shall we say, neutral observers. They're knee-deep in the exact donor network they're accusing Democrats of having. But here's where it gets absolutely extraordinary.
And if I'm correct, based on what I see here, the primary donors are the Koch brothers, the Searles, the Mercers, and Leonard Leo.
Leonard Leo. Hold up, we need to talk about Leonard Leo for at least a second. This man is arguably the most powerful conservative operative you've never heard of. He's funneled over $500 million through his dark money network. He handpicked Trump's Supreme Court nominees. He's the architect behind the conservative capture of the federal judiciary. When it comes to right-wing dark money, Leonard Leo is the final boss. And here's the beautiful part. Guess what Trump said about Leonard Leo just last week?
You all may recognize him because last week Donald Trump called him a sleazebag who probably hates America.
Wait, what? Trump turned on Leonard Leo, the man who delivered him the Supreme Court. Yeah, apparently Leo wasn't kissing the ring hard enough. He dared to question some of Trump's more unhinged moves. So now, according to Trump, one of the most powerful conservative kingmakers in America is a sleazebag who hates America. So let me get this straight. Greene brought in witnesses to testify about leftist corruption. Witnesses who are literally funded by the Koch brothers, who have spent billions reshaping American politics. The Mercers, who bankrolled Trump's 2016 campaign. And Leonard Leo, who Trump himself now says hates America. These aren't just any donors, these are the dark money titans of the conservative movement, the exact people who have spent decades building the infrastructure that Greene claims only exists on the left. It's like hosting a hearing on drug trafficking and all of your star witnesses are funded by Al Chapo, who your own boss just called a traitor. The jokes write themselves, folks. But Greene wasn't done embarrassing herself. Oh no, she had to go full conspiracy theorist.
If the permanent bureaucracy is the de facto fourth branch of the government, then these leftist NGOs are the fifth.
The fifth branch of government, really? What's next, Marge? The Illuminati is the sixth branch. Maybe lizard people are the seventh. Meanwhile, the actual non-profit representative, the only Democratic witness they allowed, tried to interject some sanity.
These actions aren't about government efficiency or about reform. They are attempted censorship disguised as accountability. This is weaponization of the federal government to chill dissent, and it is wrong, whatever party is in control.
But of course, they couldn't let her speak without personal attacks. Republican Brandon Gill had this gem.
You're a radical far-left activist, and you're masquerading as somebody promoting non-profit nonpartisan institutions.
Masquerading. The woman who runs the National Council of Nonprofits is masquerading as someone who promotes nonprofits. That's like accusing a firefighter of masquerading as someone who puts out fires. The stupidity here is MAGA. But here's what's really happening, and it is far more sinister than Greene's cartoon villain presentation suggests. This hearing isn't about exposing corruption, it's about laying the groundwork for Trump's plan to strip tax-exempt status from any organization that opposes him. And before you think, well, that's illegal, you're right. It is.
The law makes clear that if the president threatens to revoke tax-exempt status from an individual organization, they can be convicted up to 5 years in prison.
5 years in prison. But when has that stopped Trump from breaking the law, huh? Look at who they're really targeting. Organizations that feed immigrants, hospitals that provide reproductive health care, civil rights groups, environmental non-profits. You know, the people actually trying to help. Meanwhile, their own witnesses, let's review. Mark Krikorian praised the El Paso Shooters Manifesto as remarkably well written. You know, the manifesto of a man who murdered 23 people for being Latino. Their funders? The same billionaire networks pumping dark money into Project 2025, judicial nominees, and voter suppression efforts across the country. Their agenda? As one Democrat put it perfectly,
this is about Trump and Republicans punishing people who disagree with them. It is about attacking nonprofits of all sizes that serve the vulnerable and marginalized and stand in the gap for our communities. It's about trying to intimidate every charity and nonprofit in this country.
And that is the real circle of life here. Not Greene's fantasy about democratic corruption, but the actual cycle. Billionaires fund think tanks. Think tanks write extreme policy. Extreme policy gets implemented. Democracy gets dismantled. Billionaires get richer. Rinse and repeat until there's nothing left but oligarchy. As for the most galling part, they're doing it all out in the open. They're so confident in their power, so sure that their base won't care about hypocrisy, that they literally bring Koch-funded witnesses to complain about political funding. Wow. So yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene held a hearing about corruption, and she was right. There is massive corruption poisoning American democracy. She just forgot to mention it was sitting at her witness table. But hey, at least now we know what the real fifth column looks like. It's not food banks helping immigrants or environmental groups fighting climate change. It's billionaire-funded operatives testifying before Congress that democracy itself is the enemy, while being praised by the very politicians they helped buy. The circle of life indeed. Just not the one Disney had in mind. This is the MAGA corruption playbook in action, where the investigators are the criminals, the accusers are the guilty, and irony died so hard it's probably getting its own congressional hearing next week.